আমরা শিকাগো বেদান্ত সোসাইটি পৌঁছে গেছি। আজকে হলো ইস্টার সানডে। আজকে আমাদের স্বামীজি ঈশাত্মানন্দজির স্পেশাল স্পিচ রয়েছে। আজকের টপিক ইম্পর্টেন্স অফ ইস্টার। গুড ফ্রাইডেতে জিসাস ক্রাইস্টের ক্রুসিফিকেশনের পর ইস্টার সানডেতে ওনার রেজারেকশন হয়েছিল, মানে ওনার পুনরুত্থান হয়েছিল। স্বামীজি ওনার স্পিচে অপূর্ব সুন্দর করে বুঝিয়ে দিলেন জিসাস ক্রাইস্ট, কৃষ্ণা চৈতন্য মহাপ্রভু, আমাদের শ্রী রামকৃষ্ণ, এনারা সবাই হলেন ইনকারনেশন অফ লাভ, মানে এনারা কেউই আলাদা নন, সবাই একই। এবং একটা জিনিসই মানুষকে এনারা শিখিয়ে গেছেন, মানুষকে ভালোবাসার কথা। মানে স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ যেমন বলে গেছেন, জীবে প্রেম করে যেই জন সেই জন সেবিছে ঈশ্বর।
The prayer mantra for Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, and also a prayer for the universal prayer. First, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma sarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Now, next, this prayer, the universal prayer we always say, it says, Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mriturma Amritam Gamaya. It's the eternal prayer. O Lord, take us from the unreal to the real. Unreal, this world. Why unreal? Because it is changing. Anything that changes is unreal. And real, that is constant, never changes. So take us from this unreal, which is constantly changing, to the real, which is eternal. From the darkness to light. What is the darkness? The ignorance. Ignorance is the darkness. What is that ignorance? The I am going to leave. This is my world. This is my everything. So this way, when we think, that is ignorance. Because we know it is going to change. So from that darkness, from that ignorance, to the light, where we will know the truth. Mritturma amritam gamaya. Mrittu that literally it is death. But it is finite to infinite. The death means it is the closeness, it is the finite. But immortality, it is infinite. And that way we have prayed. But why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's prayer today? Because we are going to discuss about the Easter which is connected with the Lord Jesus. Because Sri Ramakrishna is Jesus. He himself admitted. And not only that, in his life, we find that uniqueness that twice it happened. Once, he was visiting somebody's house and there was an oil painting of the Madonna, Mother and the child. Sri Ramakrishna looked at it, saw it, and immediately he was attracted to that baby Jesus. And slowly, the whole picture, as it started glowing up, and the light came and entered into him. And from then, 3 days consecutively, he was meditating on the Lord Jesus. He was a priest, Hindu priest. He never much heard about the Jesus. But of course, it was the Christian era and the British were ruling, so we could understand some of the things he knew. But meditating on Jesus constantly and slowly, on the third day, he mentioned that he saw a person appearing towards him. He was sitting in that holy grove in the Dakshinesha, and there that person was approaching him. By seeing him, he could understand he is not the local person, he must be a foreigner. But then, when it came so close to him, and immediately from the core of his mind, it came Ishamoshi. Ishamoshi is the local term for Jesus. Ishamoshi, the Jesus the Christ. And Jesus came, embraced him, and merged into his person. Afterwards, when Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna narrated this story and described the feature of the Jesus, one of his direct disciples, when he was visiting, he went to Europe, he went to see the picture of Jesus painting, and he saw truly the nose is very, not like a little soft nose like the Indians, is a completely different feature. And Sri Ramakrishna described it was really true. That was the Jesus. So Sri Ramakrishna, he himself is Jesus. One of his disciple, householder disciple, Master Mahashaya, he told him, "Sir, sometimes I think this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you and Jesus are one. Because it's the incarnation of love. Jesus was the incarnation of love. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, incarnation of love. Sri Ramakrishna, the incarnation of love. So you are all one." Immediately, as if the student has given the correct answer, the teacher became very happy. He said, "Yes, yes, yes." And he mentioned that the same power which came over here as Krishna, then dived deep into the water of eternity, went over there as Jesus. So same, same, same. So this, if we can understand, at least in the name of religion, conflict will go away. The Easter is the remembrance and celebration of the transcendental aspect of the Jesus, the Son of God. There are two different aspects there. This one is this transcendental aspect, immanent and transcendent. Now, this immanent, we all know, this world, and this world we can see, we can touch, we can taste, we can smell. So through these feelings, we can understand this world. So this is the immanent world, we can understand. But what about the transcendent? We don't know. Sometimes we see the dreams and we think, well, how it has come. We always wonder that sometimes people, they come to read about the dreams. I have seen this, can you please tell what is the real meaning of the dream? So like that, we are always curious about afterlife. If you give a talk on life after death, more people will come than if you give a talk, live a life over here. We are not interested. We know how to live. But what will happen afterwards? We don't know. So they are very much interested. So this is the way we have to understand that there is always the two aspects of God, immanent and transcendent. Now we, the Hindus, we always know the God has created this universe. But if you ask why is that, why God has created this universe, they will use a two-letter word to answer you. They will say Leela. Leela means divine sports, divine play. And you cannot ask why divine play. That is the Supreme Lord, Supreme God. He thinks in that way and it happens. Here in this world we have seen the kings and the people who are on the authority, whatever they think that happens. Oh, I like to build something over here, and that was built. I like to see this thing like this, that was done. So think of the God. If these kings who are little powerful only, if they can do like this, what God can do? So obviously, the God thought, let me create this world, and He has created. The Hindu approach is always from two different angles. One dualistic angle, another the non-dualistic angle. And they will say dualistic angle, God has created it. And the non-dualist will say the Brahman thought and it has been created. Brahman, which is all pervading consciousness, Bhagavan is all pervading personality. We call it Vishnu. Vistareti Vishnu. So these are only two different ways of explaining. And then dualists will say the God is holding it and God will take it within it. The Srishti, Sriti, Pralaya. So shall one person will do it? So no. So they have given the three different names. That is Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. The three different departments. One is creating, one is helping to maintaining it, sustaining it, and then another as if destroying it. So this way we always try to understand this world, this created world, and this is really, really very important. We can understand this world, but how it was created, scientists in their own way, they are trying. And in the Christianity, the Jesus Christ and his followers, they thought God has created it. The Genesis, the first word Genesis is beginning. The beginning of what? Beginning of this creation. So the Old Testament begins with the chapter Genesis. And the first word of that chapter, the first sentence, God has created the sky and the earth. And God has created. Very clearly they mention. And if you don't explain who is God, you have to accept. God is all powerful, all merciful, at the same time He is the punisher, and like this, like that. So that conception of God is that. Why? That is their thinking. The different type of thoughts are there. You are thinking in a different way doesn't mean that that is the correct one, last one. Some other people are thinking in a different way. What is there? So first thing, we are accepting that there is God. And God is all powerful. And God can create the sky. God can create this earth. God can create anything. He created that. And we also believe in the Leela God created. So after this creation, what He did, and very wonderfully, in the same Genesis, they say in the Old Testament, and it says, so God created man in His own image. The first day God created the sky and the earth, and second day God created the water, like this, like the description, one after another, they go on telling. Then one day, the final day, after all this creation, in the creation, God has created living beings also. The birds, the animals, and He was satisfied. And every time the sentence is ending, the para is ending with the sentence, God checked it, observed it, His own creation, and becomes happy. He said, yes, it is perfect. Now you can go. So the birds He created, He saw those birds, He was happy. Animals He created, He was happy. And all the trees and the nature, He was happy. Like this, and finally, one day, He created a human of His own image. It says over here like this, the Genesis 1, that means chapter 1, 27th, the verse if we can say, it mentioned, so God created man in His own image. This word is very important. In His own image. And then, it's very special creation. because God is creating man in his own image and he created the animals with life. But here, after the creation of the human being, God breathed life into the man. He breathed life into the man. In the Upanishad it says, Tad Srishtva Tadeva Anupravishat. This is so equal. They are expressing in a different way, we are expressing in our own way. Tad Srishtva. Here it says only the man, he created the man, and as he entered into the man or breathed the life into the man. Not others. Animals and birds, they were living, but not God gave them that breath. Through the nostrils, he gave the breath. And that was the man, the first man, they gave the name Adam. And he gave so much power to Adam. And he said, whatever you see is yours. Then Adam saw the birds and said, it's birds. It became the name bird. Oh, that is animal. And it became the name animal. So you can understand the God created Adam and he was so happy creating that. He gave the Adam all the power. Whatever son, whatever you do, it is yours. All these names that we now today say, that is all Adam said. And it was accepted. Then the God thought, he is alone, my son, let me make another company. So he created another, and that is a girl, a lady. He took the ribs, he asked Adam to sleep, and then took the rib, one of the ribs, and then out of the rib created the Eve. And both of them, they were there, they were happy, they were getting the company, because Adam cannot talk with the birds or the animals, and the company of the animals and birds cannot give you that happiness as a human being. So you need a human. So you got a partner, as a company. And God said, you should not do this. You are completely free. The whole garden is yours. But only this you should not have. What is that garden? And someone suddenly came. The smoke came out. This is the problem with the Hindus. We cannot understand where from a serpent came. That means serpent was created by God himself. And the serpent, whatever he said against God, was given by God himself because it is God's creation. So we cannot understand over here. But anyway, that serpent came and told, hey, you can eat this and take this fruit, and he gave that to the Eve. Eve ate it, liked it, very tasty, gave it to Adam. Adam also ate, and what happened? They became ashamed of themselves. Why? They were naked. Now they felt, oh, I have a body and I must cover my body because this is not good to go like this. So they took the fig leaves and they covered their body, and when the God came back and called them, they said, we can hear you but we cannot come out. Why? Because this is this. God said, oh, you didn't listen to me and I banish you. This is the original sin, they call it. What is the sin? Not listening to the words of God. And what happened? Separation from God. Why? Because just I ate a fruit and developed the consciousness about my body? Yes. Because that is called ego. The Hindu will say, because of that ego, you are separated from God. Otherwise, without ego, you are God. Now, if we listen to the teachings of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, what he said? The moment you can remove your ego, you are God yourself. In Bengali, he said, Ami mole, guchibe janjali. So who is God? You. Without your ego. Look at it. We are going on searching for God. We are fasting, we are doing this, we are doing that, and we are visiting almost all places, but not finding God. Why? God is within me. And I am searching outside. And that is why we are not getting the God. So moment you look within, then you find, oh yeah, God is here. Then why we couldn't? Because of this. The Christians are explaining the original sin for which we are suffering and we are separated from God. Hindus are explaining that as ego. The Maya has given you the ahamkara. They, in Sanskrit, they will say ahamkara. What is that ahamkara? The very confusing word. Because I do not know. But everybody says ahamkara, I. So who is this I? This body, it cannot be. Because body is constantly changing. A little baby, when he says I, and same baby, grown-up person, say I, it's not the same body. Same mind. So we know that from the Vedantic point of view, so this is the original sin. We got separated from God. And when we got separated from God, what happened? Suffering. Rabindranath songs, if you knew Bengali, I could tell you, so nicely he explained. From you, when I am separating and going away, it is all torturable like death. Mrittu se dhare mrittura roop. The wonderful songs are there by Rabindranath. This feeling, this understanding, this realization. The moment we go away from God, then what is God? L-O-V-E. The God is love. And what is love? Happiness. God is joy. If the love is a torture, then that is not God. The love means happiness. Love means joy, happiness. So obviously they call it bliss. Extreme happiness. Extreme happiness is God. And all of us are searching for that. If you pat a dog and immediately it will wrinkle the tail and it will be so happy. Why? That is love. If you take a stick and run to that dog, the dog will run away. Fear. So the love and fear, we all know. This is the love that we are trying to get. How it is possible? So that is the reason incarnation comes. Why the Lord has sent His Son to teach us? Why this incarnation again and again come? And to teach us only this much. You are born out of joy, happiness. And you are very special, oh human being. You are very special. And the joy or happiness is your goal. And I will tell you how to go to that happiness. And for that you have to have first faith in the existence of God. You may not see Him right this moment. You may not touch Him right this moment. But there before you stands the Son of God, the Messiah of God, messengers of God, or the avatars, the incarnation of God. The wonderful life. What do? They only sacrifice and nothing else. Why do they sacrifice? Because they love us. Why they love us? Because they have created us. I use the word they because they are the part and person of the same God, but in different numbers and names. So that is the reason. It is not plural, it is singular. Here, the God, He created the man, breathed the life into it, and the man is a very special, and He gave man a very special thing, that the power of discrimination, power of understanding, power of understanding the good and bad. And that, if we are not using properly, so it is naturally, it becomes concern. So the God comes and the Jesus came and he guides us ultimately to the realization of the reality. To draw the attention of the people, God make his birth, his appearance always very special. Now Sri Ramachandra came and his father, he was not having any sons, so he called and invited some of the rishis. They made a yajna, and when they performed the yajna, from that fire came out someone, a celestial body, and gave some porridge, and that was distributed among the three, the wives of the king, and the first king he got, Sri Ramachandra, who was the Vishnu himself. And another parts of the Vishnu became the Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrughna, etc. So this is a why not normal? Because if it is normal, people don't accept it. That is why the God, whenever he is approaching, coming very special way, Krishna, he could simply come as a son of that mother. No. It was announced that, oh, you are now driving the same chariot of your sister, but the eighth son of your sister is going to kill you. The Kamsha became angry. I am using the words some of you will know. The Kamsha, he became angry and he arrested. He wanted to kill the sister then and there itself, but somehow he was no, you are a hero, you should not do it. She's your sister. And this eighth son means is a long, like that, all the story. And the eighth son of that, he was born in a prison. Now God could come in a very nice way. No. Why? All attention goes over there. Who is this? And not only that. The moment he was born, the mother was afraid that my beautiful child is going to be killed next moment. And the child said, Mother, don't worry. And then all the girls, they were asleep, doors were open. The father took him as per the guidance of that newborn baby, crossed the river, went to the other. All these stories. And people, oh, this is something very special. Not only that, to make people believe that I am God on this earth, he had to lift the whole hill. And people say, yes, he's very powerful. Still the doubt do not go. That's why in the Upanishad it says, when you realize God, all the doubts goes away. Shamshaya Rakshasha Nasha Mahastram. Shamshaya means doubts. Rakshasha, they are like the devils. Nasha Mahastram, they are killed, they are abolished by the name of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. So that is the stotra is there. So what the God do? He does, he will remove all doubts about God. So Krishna also in a very miraculous way. Sri Ramakrishna's father saw the dream at the same time almost, far away in that village of Kamarpukur. His mother, would-be mother, she was filled with the light of the Shiva. The father is seeing the Vishnu, mother is getting the blessings of the Shiva, and Sri Ramakrishna is born very special. Not like Jesus was born out of a lady who was virgin. No doubt about it. Some people say, hey, how it is possible? About you? Yes. But about God? It is possible. So the Virgin Mary, she gave the birth of these. Why? Because of the blessings. God wanted to take birth in that way. So God came in the form of Jesus. He was a very young boy and very poor family. When afterwards, when he grew up, all people used to follow him. So one after another we can see how things are happening. And the Jesus, when he heard about John the Baptist, and there was an ascetic, he was very famous in those days in that area. He used to live in the desert, he used to practice terrible austerity, and he had the capacity to understand the people and the future. He used to announce to the people, hey, you see me, you think that I am a religious man and powerful man? No. If someone next after me is coming, he will take you all to the eternity. He is more powerful than me. He used to go on the forerunner, they say. He was practicing that old traditional, the Jewish thing, that John the Baptist. But some people, they think that he used to meditate, and this meditation came from the Buddhist teaching. The Buddha, 2500 years before, so obviously the Buddhist teachings were available in that people knew about it. And yesterday I was giving a talk in the Home of Harmony. I was showing how the route, the Silk Route used to travel, and so many people used to go. The culture, economy of course, but the culture also used to exchange. From the east it is going to the west, from the west it is going to the east, and that way the culture was exchanging, and slowly, slowly it is developing. So sometimes the business routes also help us to understand. Now here in America, only to show that only business only and nothing else. They got so many things that they wanted to market it, the America wanted to market it. So they called an occasion, of course, and Columbian Exposition. And there they made different type of groups. Only people are coming and looking at different type of the machineries. That for everyone, they made this, sometimes the women, the organization, sometimes this organization. There are all different type of things that are going on, and they invited the religious leaders also that changed the whole Hinduism and whole India. Just one occasion. So see how things happen, and similarly here also we find these are all the terrible power of God, unique power of God, all pervading power of God. These are the things that prove again and again. But still doubt we remain. So I always say that a miracle you have to see. A young boy of 29, he came and he stood over there and he said in English, sisters and brothers of America. Not in Sanskrit, in English only. And what was there in those words? But the people got mesmerized and they stood up and clapped. The standing ovation, as they call it. Why? Because the power of God. So God, He is there. His power is supreme. But Jesus came only to give this message. Jesus, not having any kingly or aristocratic background, but people in big number used to follow Him, loved to listen to Him. And He used to go and many people used to follow. You know, in Asia, this is the specialty. In America, you will never find any person. You have to go on fixing a date and sending the how you can come, whether the car parking is free or not. After all these, many people will come. But in Asia, you just go and say, I like to talk, and immediately minimum 100 people will get. Maybe because of the popularity, as population, and because people are curious to know. If you go and talk to the very ordinary people, the rickshaw puller, they know many things. Because general knowledge is very high. They are curious, they like to know many things. If they see something new, they themselves will go, no hesitation. Sir, from where you have come, and all this. At least they will know that your parents' name and how much salary you draw within 5 minutes. So that is the very special way, and so closely they will. And that is the reason they are curious to know. A new man has come, and he is talking completely a new way. And that was the complete deviation from the traditional Jewish religion.